So let's make the mouth parts for our beast. And the first thing I need to do is I need to copy some of the inside of his mouth, because what you don't want happening is you don't want the actual creature to be lacerated by his own mouth parts. So it's pretty important that I actually get that right, and that it doesn't come through the mouth. And the best way of doing that, so that I can see what I'm doing, because you can't really see what you're doing with all this lot in the way, is to actually copy those parts. So if I go into wireframe, and it's still very confusing. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is copy a whole head, and then that's what I should do. I should copy a whole head, and then I'm going to take it apart. So what's the best way of doing it? If I go to left view here, I turn on select everything down here wherever it's gone to. Where's that gone? That's interesting. Excuse me, but I've lost an icon. Okay, well, we'll just carry on. Oh, that's because we're in wire mesh, isn't it? That's why. Suddenly realised. And now I can select everything behind as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a box select, select the head, and I'm going to duplicate that. You can see, and then I'm going to move it into another layer. Oh, I've got to separate it first. I need to go into object mode, and I need to separate by loose parts. Then I can select that bit only. I can move that bit into a new layer. I can go into the new layer. This is what I want to do. Okay. The first thing I want to do is I want to take the mirror modifier off, because there's a mirror modifier on that object at the moment. Don't want it. And we go into edit mode, and I want to select a whole load of these vertices, and I don't want to select the bottom ones. So I'm going to go C for circle select, reduce the size of it a bit. Wait. Take all these out. All this to just get at is internal mouth parts, I don't know. Cylinder. Surprise, surprise. Bit big, but hey, never mind. Let's go. Let's do that again. Add in. So I forgot to adjust the vertices, and you can't do that. There we go. Okay, you can't do that. I want to go down to we're going to be 8, I think. Yeah, we're going to be 8, and end cap fill type, nothing. So there we go. I'm going to scale that down. Stay that separately in the other axis. I'm going to do an RX 90 on it. Get it horizontal. It won't end up being horizontal, but it's easier for me to look at it that way. And while I'm modelling, I want to keep it horizontal, vertical, and all the rest of it without rotating it. It just lets me get the size roughly right. And we're going to scale it down. Something like that. That looks good. And I want it somewhat thinner than that as well. Right. Now, how big can I make that and get that in there? I can make it wider than that in that direction. Sure. Make it a bit taller, not very much. Something like that. And now we'll go into editing. And what I want to make here is a kind of ring, which the tentacles are going to come out of, and an internal mouth. Sounds like fun, huh? So I'm going to select these vertices here. Select edge loops, extrude, escape, scale. And these are the faces that our 8 tentacles are going to come out of. And we will push back, extrude again, and take it back in, and I'm going to deform that end. Scale it in. Actually, I won't. What I'm going to do, so I'm going to do a loop cut and slide. That's there. Then I'm going to scale it in. Going to do a select edge loops, extrude again, scale it in. There's a reason behind my madness doing this, which you'll see. I'm going to put some teeth in here just to make things look groovy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these faces, I'm going to change to individual origins. I'm going to extrude them out. and scale them down. Hang on a minute, I'm not going to do it quite like that. Control Z, Control Z. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select alternate ones. And this is for a reason. That's better. That's more like what I was expecting. Hit escape. I'm going to scale them. And these are going to become our tentacles. And do the other four, because then it forces them to be individual. I've got them all selected. Didn't want to do that. Let's just select those, shall we? E for extrude. View left. And let's take them out so they're about the same height. It's not overly critical. Within sort of eyeballing. Something weird going on with my mouth. Within eyeballing range, that would be the same scale. Scale them down to about the same width as the others. And we've got the start of our 8 tentacles. Now I want to select those other faces as well. Now I've got all of those selected. I might extrude those out. And how long's our mouth? Our mouth is about that long. And I'm going to scale those down now as well. I'm going to pick just these 2 lower ones to be a heck of a lot longer. These lower ones want to be longer, like that, and they've still got the same taper on them, so that's good. And I want to extrude them again. I'm going to scale them up, only in the Z direction. Extrude them again. And scale them back down. If you look at a squid, their tentacles have kind of flaps on the end like that. And that's really what I'm modelling here, really. It's a squid. So Let's add some loop cuts. And this one, and we're going to put on Control Z, escape, Control Z. Let's do that again. Loop cut and slide, and we want to put 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. I'm going to put 8 sets of vertices in there. And then we'll do a loop cut on this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is to give me enough vertices to play with when I start deforming it. And loop cut on there. Let's try that again. A loop cut on there. 3, 4, and I want these to be about the same length apart. I'm going to loop cut all the rest, and you don't really need to watch me fluff around doing that. So I've had a chance to have a little play with this, and I now know exactly what I'm going to do. So let's, oh, wrong one. Control Z. Let's select our object here. And move it out so we can get at it. And what I'm going to do is these longer tentacles here, I'm actually going to make part of the rig. So I'm going to animate those using bones. B bones or bendy bones is what I'm going to use. So those are definitely going to be animated as part of the rig. These other tentacles here, however, I want to give them two sorts of animation. One of them folding them up inside the mouth, which is going to be quite an easy one, and the other one will be to wave them around, which won't be quite so easy. So what I need to do is I need to select all of these tentacles here. So I'm going to go into edit mode and hit A to deselect what I've already got selected. I'm going to turn on a little beastie down there that allows me to select whatever I want, even if it's behind something else. Go into circle, selection, and I'm just going to follow these up as far as I can, like so. Escape to come out of that. You can see that I need to select some more of that one. Escape. I'm not overly worried really about select that one because that's more getting it in the right angle really to do the selections can be a bit of a pain. Back to circle select. I've just got one more to get. Hit escape. And I've just got that one left to get. Like so. Now, if I hit escape and go back to object mode, and I want to add a new keyframe, a new shape key, and that one's going to be called retracted. Like that. Back into edit mode. Now, I need to set the origin. So I want to put the 3D cursor somewhere inside here. So I'm going to left click there, and left click there, left click, this is going to take me a few tries to do it this way, because I can't snap it to anything because I'm going to ruin my selection here. We'll get it somewhere in there eventually, like that. That's good enough. Now I'm going to set a pivot point to the 3D cursor, and I'm going to scale in that direction, like that. And I'm going to scale just in the X, like that. I'm going to scale just in the Y, like so. That's pretty cool so far. Right, now I've got these fairly easily selectable. Hit the A key, C for circle select, and I'm going to go to about halfway down, like so. Hit escape, and now I'm going to move these down, so it's like they're telescoping out really. Hit A, hit S for scale, C for circle, oops, didn't want to select that, escape, telescope them down again, and scale them again. Like so. You can see we've got this kind of zigzaggy shape here, which is good. So that's kind of what I want. Now, is that going to interfere with our head? Possibly. So take those down a bit. See for circle select again. This for scale. And they should kind of launch out in quite a realistic way. And let's do that, shall we? So if we go back into object mode, you can see they're going to keep inside the head. So they're going to launch out like that in quite a realistic way. So that's our first shape key. Now I need to add another key. And this one I'm going to call deployed. Deployed. And I want to just select the two top and the two bottom. So let's get that in here. Circle select. Oops, need to go into edit mode first. C for circle select. C for circle select. Shift circle select to get rid of that one. Hit escape. And oh, actually I didn't want to select that one, so C for circle select, press shift, get rid of that. And I don't want these sides to be completely symmetrical, which is why I'm not just using the mirror modifier. Right, now left click over here somewhere. One of these days I will learn to snap the cursor before I start doing this sort of crap. That will do. Okay. So now I'm going to move these out. I'm going to apply some rotation. You'll see that counteracts the effect of those. So now we've essentially got these dropping out of the corner, hopefully, of our mouth. imagine how that goes in there. Something like that. Hit A to deselect them all. C. This time I'm only selecting part of the way down. Escape. C. Escape. And I'm going to have to put this back in the mouth in a minute and kind of modify this. A to get rid of that. C to just select these tips here. Escape. Bring them down. Rotate them. Snap. That's selected. Rotate. That's a bit better. You can see they're kind of wavy. And I want to scale. Individual origins. That's not going to work. And something like that. And repeat that for the other side, but slightly different. And I'm going to have to put it in the head and tinker with them. And that's all it's going to be, just a process of put it in the head, tinker with it. And I don't think you need to see that because it's doing all the same things I'm doing already, just selecting, moving, rotating. Okay, I've now done that, and if we look at our deployed, you'll see that it does that. It takes straight to not straight. So to make it a bit more realistic, what you can do is leave that set to about 0.3 all the time, and then you can retract and deploy, and by changing the value slightly of retract and deploy, you can make the tentacles wave about in an interesting manner. So let's move this into our main scene now, and we'll see if we can do a demonstration of it. So I'm going to take deployed value down. I'm going to leave it a bit on because it's quite good for it to be a bit on. It gives a bit of randomness to the placing of the tentacles. Now that's going to be I. Now remember, I'm not going to animate these two until I put a rig on it. That's going to be I on deployed as well. There. So those two are set up for our start frame. Now when we get out to here, about 20 frames, something like that, we want to be fully deployed. And we want to be zero retracted. That's where we want to be. And then from here on, we're just going to make some tiny changes every 5 frames or so. And we could automate this in the graph manager, but it's not worthwhile tiddling around with it just for this. And I'm going to retract it a little bit. Set those 2 keyframes. And a bit later, I'm going to take deployed down, just straighten them out. And what to do with retracted. Retracted all the way to 0. And a few keyframes later, I'm going to wind up with about 2 seconds worth of animation, basically, just to see if this works okay. And retracted all the way. Deployed most of the way. You can see we're going to get this writhing effect, which is what we want. And by 50, going to have deployed back down to where it was, roughly, and retracted all the way. So we're going to edit, we're going to animate 50 frames, and the animation, if I do view from camera, it's going to look something like that.